up, ladies and gentlemen? It is Kevin Jackowitz here with the Caged Review, and I'm going to review Monday Night Raw for May 7th, 2018. And this is a show that I think they did a lot right with. We're heading into Money in the Bank, and so the majority of the show, and since this is a couple of days late, I can even say that SmackDown did the same thing, where most of the show was developing the matches for Money in the Bank, and they're specifically dealing with Money in the Bank for the men and the women. And so I kind of like that they did that. Kurt Angle starts the show, and he announces 2 triple threat matches where the winner of each match is going to be a participant in Money in the Bank. The first one was for the women, and that's Ember Moon versus Ruby Riott versus Sasha Banks. And then for the men, you had Roman Reigns versus Finn Balor versus Sami Zayn. So we know that one of those 3 are going to be participants in Money in the Bank. And then, of course, he's going to get interrupted by Braun Strowman, who's been on an absolute tear lately, says he deserves a spot. And then Kevin Owens interrupts him, says he deserves a spot too. Of course, Kevin Owens starts taking jabs at Kurt Angle, talking about the whole conspiracy thing. So Kurt Angle go ahead and makes the match Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens. The winner is going to be in Money in the Bank. So it's a pretty cool match. I think Kevin Owens sells the big man's moves. I really like Braun Strowman. Really good power guy, and when he gets to running around the ring, it's just kind of fun. He bowled over Kevin Owens a couple of times outside, and they were heavy hits. That was one part where he knocked Kevin so hard that he literally went off his feet and his head hit the rail, which I don't think was planned. So at the end, Braun Strowman takes the win. So he is in Money in the Bank. After that, you get a backstage interview with Roman Reigns. He's talking about his losses to Brock Lesnar. He needs to get back on track. He's going to win the Money in the Bank match. So time will tell. Then you get backstage interview with Kurt Angle. Goldust, who has never been in a Money in the Bank ladder match, says that he really wants in a Money in the Bank ladder match. And it looks like Kurt Angle is about to say, no, you haven't really done anything. But he's interrupted by Jinder Mahal, who is saying basically the same thing. He deserves a spot in the Money in the Bank ladder match. And Angle says, you haven't won a single match since you've been on Raw yet, so you're going to have to prove to me that you can do anything. And you have a match later with Chad Gable, who you've been talking about. So that leads into that. Then you get a match with No Way Jose, Apollo Crews, and Titus O'Neil, Titus Worldwide, versus Baron Corbin and Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder. No amazing spots in this match, nothing to really stand out. Decent for what it was, but just a filler match in a way. And so at the end, Baron Corbin, Scott Dawson, Dash Wilder win when Corbin hits End of Days on No Way Jose. After that, you have your qualifier for the Money in the Bank for the women, Sasha Banks, Ruby Riott, and Ember Moon. I actually like all 3 of these women, and they actually put on a really good match. I thought the match itself was good. You had some high flying, you had some good technical moves, you had, some very eye-popping moments in the match. At the end was just a little bit corny because you had Sasha Banks had Ruby Riott, and it looks like maybe she might be going for the flip into the bank statement. Ember Moon comes off with the Eclipse and hits Ruby Riott, but then Sasha Banks just kind of bounces and rolls out of the ring. So it was a little bit cheesy there because, you need to have something to actually do something to Sasha Banks to get her out instead of her literally just dropping and rolling out of the ring. I don't think that was choreographed quite as well as it could have been. But still a good match, still a good finish. Ember Moon picks up the win. She's in the Money in the Bank match. And I'm really excited for her because, let's be honest, she's a very good high flyer. She doesn't mind taking risks. So, and plus she's just kind of brutish in a way, man. She doesn't mind getting hit. So that'll be interesting to see. Then you get what is possibly the worst promo bit ever. And I mean ever. And it wasn't the guy they were interviewing. It was the writing was absolute garbage. This is the quickest way to kill a character ever. So Renee interviews Bobby Lashley. And I have been watching wrestling since 1987. And I don't know that I've seen as bad a writing as this. Bobby Lashley is sitting there. There's no point to the promo. There's nothing about matches. There's nothing about opponents. He's talking about his 3 sisters, and each sister has this little item that she used to hold on to for comfort. Whatever it was. And this was the cheesiest, most ridiculous way of trying to get somebody over as a likable character ever. It was complete garbage. They just killed Bobby Lashley. Like, they literally just killed his fucking character. So, after that absolutely horrible interview, Jinder Mahal versus Chad Gable. I mean, Chad Gable's a really good athlete, I think. This match was not phenomenal to me at all. At the end, they had Jinder Mahal go over, so now he has a chance to possibly go into the Money in the Bank match. And even that's supposed to be a maybe, so we'll see what happens there. And then right after that, you get backstage, Kurt Angle's talking to Zack Ryder. Zack Ryder's in his hometown. He wants to get in the Money in the Bank business. And then Jinder comes in, and he says, I just beat him, blah, 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 I want in. And then Kurt Angle's like, woo, 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 no. And so that was kind of a fun spot there. But I don't know, man. Like, I'm not that big a fan of Jinder as a whole. I certainly appreciate the fact that he's worked his ass off and he looks the part. And he actually seems to be a pretty genuinely nice guy outside of the ring, but he's just really awkward in the ring, man. He's not that great a wrestler, in my opinion. So, I don't know. I wasn't feeling too much of that. After that, you get Heath Slater and Rhino versus Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler. And they're trying to build Drew McIntyre to be an absolute beast, and it's really working. And this is how you do it. At least you're not pulling in a couple of nobody locals that nobody knows their names. You got Heath Slater and Rhino, which you know are kind of jobbers at this point. But at least you know who they are. And so Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler just kind of run over these guys, which was cool to see, honestly. Drew McIntyre, again, he's another guy that's worked his ass off and really looks the part. And he's a little bit better in the ring. He really is. And he did this like really cool snake move where he kind of slid across the ring backwards and he was looking at, I think it was Heath Slater. And it was just a really cool look. But anyway, Ziggler, McIntyre, they pick up the win. After that, you get Elias versus Bobby Roode. Decent match. Not a standout, but decent. Roode picks up the win. Does an in-ring promo how he's going to get the Money in the Bank briefcase and it's going to be glorious. And, you know. I don't know that I'm too over on the whole glorious thing. I do like Bobby Roode, though. Bobby Roode is a really good talent. I think so. After that, Seth Rollins says he's not going to be like other champions. He's going to be a fighting champion, open invitation, to which Mojo Rawley answers the call. I was kind of surprised that they brought Mojo Rawley out because they're, trying to build... well, at least I thought they were trying to build him up at one point, but he comes out and, kind of a cool match. There was a couple of spots like Rawley's shoulder tag to Rollins outside of the ring was a cool spot. But Seth Rollins is going to go over on Rawley. which is, of course, what happens. Then you get Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel versus Matt Hardy versus Bray Wyatt. And again, you already know what's going to happen with this match. It's going to be decent at best because you're dealing with Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel, and Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy are going to go over. So, and of course, that's what happens. So at the end, you finally have Finn Balor versus Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns. Good match, honestly. It was good. But I'm not really invested in either Finn Balor, honestly, or Roman Reigns. So it's like, I don't know. At the end, Finn Balor picks up the win. And the only thing about that is, like, I like Finn Balor, but I'm really not a fan of how they've hidden away his best gimmick, the demon gimmick. You know, I heard rumor that Vince McMahon only wants to do it very rarely because he wants it to be super special and he wants the demon gimmick to be undefeated. You have the best gimmick in the whole fucking company and you're not using it. That's fucking stupid. It's retarded. I don't give a fuck what your reason is for not using it. It's stupid. So, Finn Balor, to me, as Finn Balor himself with his leather jacket looking like a gay biker, not that there's anything wrong with that. It just doesn't work for me. It doesn't. There's nothing about it that is appealing. So, yeah, okay, Finn Balor's in there, so you got Finn Balor and Braun Strowman, and that's really the setup. Overall, I don't know, man. I really like the fact that they were using matches that are directly related to the next pay-per-view. I like that they're trying to build storyline like that. There were like 3 filler matches in here, though. And I don't know, man. That seems like a lot. And that interview with Bobby Lashley was horrible. Like I said, literally probably the worst writing I have ever seen in the WWE. And that's saying something because there was a period there where it was all pretty terrible. 4 out of 10. 4. I think that they could have done a lot better with the filler matches. I think they could have done a lot more building up storylines that people care about. I think they could have done a hell of a lot better with that promo trying to build up Bobby Lashley. I'm not a fan, honestly. Not too much of a fan. And it's funny because when I started this, I was like, yeah, it was decent, it was pretty good. But the more I think about it, it's like, no, really, it wasn't good. So that's where I'm at. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. My name is Kevin Jackwitz. KH Nation, out.